Hello, everyone. My name is Eric. I guess each of you dreamed of being in two places at the same time, at least once in your lifetime. I mean, like when your parents insist you should be on a boring family dinner while there's a new episode of your favorite series coming up and you're dying to know what's going to happen next. Or like when your mates are asking you to come over for a video game night and you've already promised a girl a romantic date. One day, I somehow managed to split. I was in two places at the same time, but something went wrong. Want to know what happened? Then make sure you watch this story to the end and you'll find out. Since I was a kid, I've always been very active. I tried to do everything in the world: sports, creative studios, school boards. I couldn't choose just one thing, so I practically lived in school. When I got older, I still had to set my priorities. I realized if you want to do anything seriously and get some results, you got to be responsible and work hard. First, I chose sports and started playing basketball. Yeah, I didn't become a team captain, but I was sure it's going to happen someday. Besides, the coach often set me as a role model for other team players. Once, he even mentioned something about the junior league. Second, I was a member of the school students board. I went to the meetings a couple of times a week. Well, my position was sort of like an event manager's assistant, but my work was always done by the girls from the school board who were in love with me. I knew it was kinda abuse, but I asked each of them out on a date to thank them. I don't know if they told each other about this thing, though. These two activities gave me some privileges in my studies. For example, the teachers turned a blind eye to my absence at the classes because I was at the basketball competitions. I graduated from high school. Then I entered the university of my dream. The commission members noted my sports achievements, my leadership, and organization skills. They slightly hinted it would be nice if such an active person like me took part in the university life. I promised I wouldn't let them down. So after my first month at the university, we all had the option to choose some extra activities. I decided to check different classes and then choose something for myself, depending on the benefit I could get. Of course, the easiest thing was to join sports. On my first day at the university, I applied for the basketball team. There was no doubt I would hit it. Of course, they took me. At the qualifying game, I showed my best. So the university team coach had no doubts about me. And he also hinted if I played well and showed my best at the faculty's competition, they would take me to the university team. He even asked me about my future career in sports. He said I had the potential to join some famous team, like the Lakers. Of course, I tried hard. The guys from the university team got a decent scholarship. Sometimes there were even some monetary awards if the team won some top competitions. That's what my roommate told me. He was 2 years older than me, and he was already on the university team. Anyway, I had a new goal. I needed to train hard and to be the best in basketball. The next place I decided to explore was the science club. I know it sounds strange. Me, science, they don't go together. Well, they do. First, I am both a good sportsman and a pretty smart guy. I know, it's a rare thing, but that's so. Second, the science club ad looked tempting and promising. Science club members got some privileges at the university. For example, if the science club member was always engaged in the science activity, if he made reports at the conferences, published articles on science, did some research, played quiz games for the university team, he had a chance to go abroad for an internship. For example, to Canada, Australia, or England. And I have always dreamed of traveling. Besides, this internship would be a great advantage for a future employer when applying for a job. There were very few guys in the science club, so when the science club head saw me, she almost grabbed me like a hot cake, promising me the fields of gold. She also said she would be glad to help me with my studies. I said I would think about her offer. The next place was the drama studio. Well, I used to visit drama classes at school, but I gave up later. However, some skills remained. Besides, the teacher always praised me and said I had a talent. There was a long line for the casting, so when I saw it, starting even outside the university, I immediately turned around. That's how my acting career ended before it even started. Another option was the Students' Board. Every faculty had its own board. They all were under the management of the University Board. kinda hierarchy with its own laws. It was like a small state inside the university. I immediately realized it was not so easy to get there. They had a strict selection and competition. As a fresh student, the only way to get there was charity activities. If the board committee appreciated your work, you're in. I had little hope I would be accepted, but I applied anyway. Oddly enough, they quickly took me. Apparently, my previous experience in the school board played its part. So me and a couple of other guys were appointed for events arrangement. I guess you're probably interested why I needed this. Let me tell you. Students' board members had their own privileges. For example, the teachers highly appreciated student board members and always gave them good marks. Besides, some companies needing employees with leadership skills would appreciate the experience in the student boards. That would be a great advantage to get a prestigious job. I know. From the outside, it seems like I wanted too much from this life, but I grew up in an ordinary family. Well, we were not poor, but I can't say we denied ourselves nothing, so I decided I would do my best for my future. But it wasn't as easy as I thought at the beginning. After I joined all these extra activities, and one day I had studies, then basketball training, and students' board meeting, I was so exhausted in the evening that as soon as I crawled to bed, I immediately fell asleep. All my activities could not fit in the 24/7. It was impossible. I had to go somewhere even on the weekend. But my dream on Saturday was just to lie down on my bed in the dorm, watch my favorite series, and do nothing. And this was an unachievable dream. Due to the floating training schedule, I constantly missed the classes at the science club. I didn't have any progress there. Of course, the head of the club was first patient and understood my situation. Still, 2 months later, he called me and said I hadn't made any report and I had always been silent on all the conferences. He said if I continued this way, they would have to exclude me and find another person for my place. The option of an internship abroad faded away. However, things were easier with the student board. I just used the workout scheme. I charmed a few girls there who were happy to do my work for me. Of course, I helped there as much as I could, carried some boxes of props and decorations, and I decorated the event hall for the student initiation ceremony. Thus, I killed two birds with one stone. I didn't attend the boring meetings, and my work was appreciated and everyone praised me. Anyway, I had to do something with the science club. I wanted that internship. By the way, the University Basketball Cup was coming up. The number of training sessions had increased. The only time for report I had was the night. But the next morning, I looked like I was the living dead or something, and I couldn't accept the information at the classes normally. One night, I came up with a brilliant idea. I wonder why I hadn't thought of it before. Because the solution I had always wanted was right around the corner, and it was so simple and obvious. Oh my God. Okay, I forgot to mention one interesting fact about myself. Actually, I have a twin brother. His name is Derek. We are as two peas. We even had the same clothing style and hairdos. Our tastes were almost the same. If you take our school photos, you won't tell me from Derek. Besides, neither will I. Well, we looked totally the same from the outside, but our characters were different. I was active, energetic, cheerful, sociable, always rushing somewhere, trying to catch everything at once. And Derek was passive, lazy, slow-moving, and self-contained introvert. When I was a kid, I loved playing with my friends, skateboarding and breaking my knees like all my friends did, but Derek spent his days reading different books. Our mom rarely managed to kick him out of his room to get some fresh air outside. Despite the fact that he read a lot, he was not good at the academic performance, probably because he was always very lazy. I guess he could learn quickly and be an A-plus student easily because he was very smart, but he didn't like school, studies, homework, and preferred lying in bed with a book instead of doing something else. When we graduated from high school and it was time to choose the higher education, Derek still could not decide on a college and choose his future profession. Nothing interested him at all. Well, our parents had always been very understanding. They gave him a year to think about it. They believed this way he would carefully choose the best college for him. But mom and dad made him a condition. If he didn't enter a college the next year, they wouldn't help him anymore, and he would have to work as a pizza delivery guy or something, forgetting about higher education at all. Well, let's get back to my brilliant plan. I wanted to ask Derek to go to the science club and pretend to be me. He stayed at home all the time and didn't do anything. And here, he would get the access to the university library, take some rare copies of the books, and besides, he could try himself in the scientific activity. Who knows? Maybe this is the thing he needed in life. But Derek wasn't that impressed with my offer. I had come back to my hometown on purpose for that weekend to invite my twin brother on a little adventure, but he immediately refused. Well, I had a trick up my sleeve. I promised my brother I would give him half of my sports scholarship if he agreed. Yeah, I was already getting a scholarship for playing on the basketball team. After all, Derek never had any job. He didn't have any money. Our parents constantly hinted at him it was no good to freeload, asking mom and dad for money all the time. Anyway, this was my last bet, and I hoped I would win. And yes, Derek agreed to my terms. We immediately started to discuss the action plan. First, I prepared for Derek the same clothing I put on for the university: jeans, t-shirt, and a jacket with the faculty logo print. He was like my clone in this wear. Second, I handed Derek the science club classes schedule and my work for the report. Surprisingly, the topic I chose seemed interesting to my brother. He said he would be very happy to work on it. I couldn't even dream of it. And more important, I asked Derek to be more cheerful and active so that no one had any suspicions. He didn't promise anything, but he said he would try. I had already imagined that forced smile of his that he would use to scare everyone away. We agreed on our terms, and the next week we started our plan. On the big day, while I was at the basketball training, Derek, pretending to be me, came up to the science club meeting. And his report greatly pleased the science club head. I was greatly surprised when he started asking me more questions on the topic, some particular books, and then Googling for the similar researches later on. Anyway, my life seemed to get better. No one noticed our trick. The guys from the science club and my basketball team never crossed paths at the university, so there was almost no chance someone would realize I was in two places at the same time. Derek got the hang of it. Within a month, he had prepared a huge report with an impressive presentation. At least, that's what he told me. The head always praised him and set him as a role model to other members. I was even happy for my brother. Maybe he found his vocation at last. I was doing very well, too. Our team won the tournament. I was appointed as the captain of the faculty team and joined the university basketball team. It was a small but very important victory. I relaxed, and I did not expect anything bad at all to happen. I didn't even think there might be something or someone who would violate our worked-out scheme. But I happened to fall in love. As it turned out later, I was not the only one. Leah was in our cheerleading team with a lot of beautiful girls. Of course, she was the most beautiful to me. We met at one of the training sessions. We chatted, and after training, I walked her to the dorm, and we exchanged our phone numbers. We started texting each other. I asked her out on a date where I offered her to be my girlfriend, as I liked her very much. Of course, she agreed. Probably we were one of those nasty student couples who hugged and kissed in front of everyone, irritating both students and teachers, but we didn't care. We were happy, and we were in love. But one night, Leah called me and said I was a moron, a cheater, a deceiver. She didn't want to see me anymore or hear anything about me. She said she wished she had never known me at all. Of course, I didn't understand anything and asked her what was going on. In response, she offered me to ask my dear Emily about it. Who the hell is Emily? I was about to ask Leah, but she hung up. The next day, my whole group looked at me accusingly, as if I had committed a terrible crime. I knew it was something about Leah, but I couldn't figure out why she thought I was cheating on her. I guess I was so lost in my thoughts, I didn't notice a girl rushing to me with a hug. She practically jumped on me, immediately kissed me on both cheeks, smiling happily and calling me my cat, except that I had no idea who she was. Was it Emily? I told the girl she probably made a mistake because we didn't know each other. While she was digesting the information, I quickly ran off to a quiet, deserted place and dialed Derek. Later on, I realized where this problem came from. My brother didn't even deny it. Yeah, he liked the girl from the science club. They started dating. Yesterday, he asked her out, and they spent the whole evening walking around campus and kissing. It wasn't hard to guess that Leah had seen them. I was terrified, and I had no idea how to handle the situation. On the one hand, I was in love with Leah, and I didn't want to leave her at all. On the other hand, I knew asking Derek to break up with Emily wasn't the right thing to do either. Of course, he would refuse it. He never had had a girlfriend in his life. Telling the science club all this time I had been cheating on them, and it was my twin brother who made all the reports and who was not even a student, was a bad idea. In this case, they would definitely exclude me in the worst case scenario. The best thing they could do was to leave me in the university but close the doors of all extra activities for me. Besides, they would definitely exclude me from the basketball team. Anyway, I'm at a loss now. I don't know what to do. Maybe you can give me some advice. What should I do? I don't want to offend my brother, and I want to bring Leah back, and I want to continue working on our scheme. Is it possible? What do you think? Write your answers in the comments below. I promise I'll read every comment and answer. I hope some comment might be a solution to my problem. If you liked my story, don't forget to click thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Click the bell button to turn on notifications and always stay tuned. Bye, everyone.